So we can go into question answer now. Yes. Give the I can't show, I didn't go very long with the class, so that through question answers more discussions will entail.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah.
My knowledge and understanding is imperfect, but as I understood from Gita that each individual, each soul is expected to perform its duty to the society, to Krishna, and to the forefathers and the family. By pretending to be less than he was, how is there a little shortfall in the way Bharat actually performed his duties, in his life?
Well, if at all Bhagavad Gita instructed about serving the society, etc., etc., as you are saying, but that is only a partial stage of development, not the ultimate. Ultimate instruction of Bhagavad Gita is Sarva Dharman Parityajya. Sarva Dharma, no, your so-called duties, give everything up, surrender unto me. Alright? So that is what we have to understand. Serving family, serving society, as Bharat Maharaj pointed out, I didn't get into the details of it. This material nature is like a deep, dark forest. And all the relationships are like different animals. So what's the lesson then? How long these relationships will last? We may be, like it's naturally one feels attachment to the family members and all. But come to think of it, for how long those relationships are going to last? That is the real consideration, and that understanding is the real knowledge. You know what these relationships are? No matter how deep it is, just in a river, some dry pieces of weeds and grass are floating. Some are coming together only for a short span and then separating forever. That's our relationship, that's the reality. And to think that we can't live without them, they mean everything to me, is Maya, is the illusory energy of the Lord that's making one feel that way. Do you remember anyone from your previous life? And don't you think that you had some very deep relationships there? Same thing will happen in this life also. That's the reality. And Bhagavatam is reminding that to us. None of these relationships worth its while. It may sound rather unpleasant and unpalatable, but that's the reality. And mind you, you came here to hear that only. This question is from Deva Radhika. Where is she? Okay. Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Is the chanting of the holy name the most important aspect of our daily spiritual practice? Yes. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Namaiva Kevalam. Yes, you got it. Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva Gatirannatha. Besides that, there is no other way, no other way, no other way. And your second question is, why is it important to hear the holy name while we are chanting? Very good question. Why it is important to hear attentively while we are chanting? What we are chanting, Devaradika? The holy name of the Lord. This holy name is manifest in which way? Sound. The Lord has manifested Himself in the sound. Now, how do you receive sound? Do you receive sound with your hand? Then how do you receive? So that is why the way to receive the holy name, the way to worship the holy name is by hearing. That's the way to worship the Lord in this age. Thank you. Okay, it's a long question, let me see. Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Guruji. Actually, I was looking at the name, and the last few words in place of the name is Nathuram Godse. And I was about to read out. I was about to read out the question from Nathuram Godse. But then I realized it can't be. So anyway, I have always been inspired by some of the most prolific writers in our history, like Srila Jiva Goswami and Rabindranath Tagore and so on. I was also inspired by the letter written by Nathuram Godse prior to his execution by the government of India, then branding Godse as a Hindu religious fanatic. I think that decision was wrong. Is it all right to be inspired by writers and other writers such as Rabindranath Tagore? This question is from? Don't feel shy. How many Bengalis are here? No, it's not. Okay. Oh, you are also Rabindranath Tagore. Your name is Rabindranath also. Are you from Bengal or? You're from? Punjab. Okay. Okay, so your question is whether it's all right to be inspired by these writers. You see, at some stage we do develop appreciation for these writers. Like, I must honestly admit I was inspired by many writers. Tagore is one of them. And so, that is one phase that we go through. We appreciate their intellectual presentation, their poetic expressions, their deep perceptions and appreciation of this world. That's one phase. But then, when you come to the spiritual platform, they become irrelevant. Because then you go into another dimension. Like in life it happens, we never stick to just one plane. Like when one is a child, he plays with his toys. When he grows up, he doesn't have any interest in those toys because he has grown up. So similarly, when we grow up to the spiritual platform, then these become irrelevant. And is it all right to be inspired spiritually by the letters written by national and pragmatic and honest persons like Nathuram Godse? You see, in the ultimate, when you come to the spiritual platform, then you see apart from Krishna consciousness, everything else is irrelevant. Like say for example, at one time Gandhi was so much adored and worshipped and admired. But in course of time we saw what a damage he actually had done. Why? Because he didn't have the actual knowledge. He thought the independence of India was going to be the ultimate goal. But if you read some of Prabhupada's writings after independence, Prabhupada clearly pointed out that, India has got the independence, but what actually happened? There was an article by an editorial actually in one of the English newspapers, and there the editor was commenting that India has become independent. So many years went by, but still it seems that the problems didn't get solved. And it seems that in the dispensation of providence, mankind cannot have any rest. And Srila Prabhupada took that word and he pointed out, yes, in the dispensation of providence, mankind cannot have any rest unless and until he takes to Krishna consciousness. So that is the ultimate reality. See, maybe, Godse had done a great job. Because if Gandhi was alive, then probably India would have been much worse than what is today. And you know why he did that, on the basis of religion, the land was divided, Gandhi accepted it. And as a result of that, today, eternal enemy has been created for India. These two countries will never meet because, these two religions are never going to meet. I mean, not only these two religions, no religion will ever meet with Islam. Because the way it is. And, the nation has been divided on the basis of the religion. And Pakistan was for the Muslims, but India was not actually for the Hindus. The Muslims got Pakistan, but what did the Hindus get? So this is all our father of the nations doing. And not only that, a large amount of money Gandhi wanted to give Pakistan. And that's the time Godse actually killed him. And that was just the beginning. Like what Gandhi would have done, nobody knows if he was alive. So anyway, but the thing is, all these happenings are just affairs of this material nature. Godse is gone, Gandhi is gone. But India is suffering. The reality is to surrender to Krishna, because that achievement, that happening is the ultimate, for ultimate benefit of mankind. Whoever takes to Krishna consciousness will benefit beyond all these political, geographical, social considerations. So that's again, I'll go back, Bhagavatam, time and time again is reminding that point. That surrender to Krishna is the ultimate goal of life. Leading a life with Krishna in the center is the perfection of our existence. Okay, that's nice. You said that we should not get attached to anybody, but you attach to, I think it's anyone. But is it okay to become attached to someone who is helping you get closer to Krishna? I'm not saying don't get attached to anyone. I'm saying get attached to Krishna only. And those who are helping you to get close to Krishna, yes, will naturally get attached to him. Because that is not different from your attachment to Krishna. So Krishna and related to Krishna, that's about all. Nothing other than Krishna. And I'm not saying don't develop your relationships. Remember what I said this morning? Develop your relationships through Krishna, not through your body. In the material nature, we develop our relationships through our body. Body's father, body's mother, body's friend, body's brother. They are our near and dear ones. Body's enemies must be given up, must be killed. And so this is how through the body we are actually making these relationships. But in reality, with these relationships should be developed with Krishna in the center. Like for example, the mother is naturally attached to her children. So should we say, mothers, don't develop your attachment to your children? And it happened in the early days, devotees were not very experienced, and they were saying things like that. Mother's attachment to their children is Maya. And they separated mother from the children and sent the mothers to book distribution or collecting funds. And the result was very, very undesirable. That is due to their ignorance or lack of experience. But what Krishna consciousness is telling, what Prabhupada told us, yes, mother will be naturally attracted to her children, but recognize that they are not your children, they are Krishna's children. So bring them up as Krishna's children. So by doing that, what is happening? You are becoming Krishna conscious and you are making your children Krishna conscious. So our business is to expand, spread Krishna consciousness. In Krishna consciousness, everything is positive. Okay, we develop our friendship. Shouldn't we develop friendship? Yes. Let those friendships develop with Krishna in the center. You love Krishna, I love Krishna, so we are friends. Just like people say, you love golf, I love golf, so we are friends. So to develop relationships, there must be a medium. And that medium, for us, that medium is Krishna. And with Krishna in the center, you can develop a relationship with the entire creation. And that is the Vedic understanding. The Vedic understanding is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Vasudha means the entire earth planet. The whole earth planet is one family. Can you imagine how broad a perception that is? The entire earth planet is a family. But how this family relationship is established? Not only the relationship between human beings, relationship between us and the animals, relationship, whoever is in the universe, in this planet, is a member of our family. The animals, birds, reptiles, insects, trees, plants. We just need to see what a wonderful arrangement Krishna has made. And that is how we see the family. The trees, can you imagine how they're benefiting us? They're supplying us the most valuable things. Our food is coming from the trees. Even the rains are coming from the trees. Because when the trees are there, the trees attract the cloud and make it condense and come down in the form of rain. The trees are providing us with the oxygen that we need. So see the relationship. And behind that, who do we see? It's Krishna. So Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the whole earth planet, whole Vasudha is a family. Okay. Namaskar Maharaj Ji. Could you please tell us about nature of science in Vedic time? Nature of science in Vedic times. Whose question is this? Nature of science means?
What was the development of the science in the...
Oh, okay. Okay. You see, science means the systematically analyzed study of a subject. When any subject is systematically analyzed and studied, that is science. Say, for example, study of energy is physics. Study of matter is chemistry. Study of numbers is mathematics. Study of sound is music. So this is how, these are the systematic study or the science. Now, in the Vedic time, there was a very systematic, understanding. Like Vedas were dealing with different aspects. Like Veda has one aspect is using of weapons. That is called Dhanur Veda. The study of music, Gandharva Veda. Similarly, study of medical science, Ayurveda. So scientifically Vedas are very, very advanced. Probably you have heard that this concept of nuclear weapons actually came from the Vedas. Germany was holding a lot of the Vedic scriptures. Who actually invented the flying machine, the U-2 bombs, U-2 rockets? Germans. Where did they get the secret? Vedas. Similarly, atom bomb. I heard, at least, but it sounds quite reasonable, that it was actually coming from Germany, the theory of atom bomb. They didn't want to drop it in Europe because the effect of atom bomb would have been devastating, even for Germany itself, no matter where they dropped. So they were actually sending it to Japan to experiment it and develop it and use it. That submarine was intercepted by the US Naval Force. And then they got that secret. And then Oppenheimer, another German scientist, actually developed it, the first atom bomb. Anyway, the point is, you see, that is how advanced it was. And it's not surprising, the first day I briefly mentioned that out of 6 branches of Vedic philosophy, there is one branch called Vaisheshika. This branch is dealing with atomic theory. Atomic theory. So they had perfect understanding, but they didn't use it for destructive purpose. They always used it for constructive purpose. And if it was not to be used in Krishna's service, they didn't use it. If it was not for the benefit of the society, they didn't use it. So does it answer your question? That is how advanced the Vedic science was. And come to think of it, just to give, since you brought it up, I'll give you some examples. See how scientific the Vedic knowledge is. I'll just give you an example. The Christians, especially I think the Catholics, their understanding is that only the human beings have soul. Animals don't have soul. What to speak of insects, trees and plants. And this is their ingrained understanding. Only the human beings have soul, nobody else has soul. Now what does it prove? It proves that they don't know what soul is. They're using the word soul, but they don't know what soul is. On the other hand, when we get a proper understanding of the soul, then we get to see that wherever there is consciousness, there must be a soul. Because consciousness comes from the soul. So wherever there is consciousness, there is a soul. And that there is life. Wherever there is soul in a body, is life. Whether it's tree, plant, animal, insects, worms, so forth. Okay, now see how scientific the Vedic understanding is. The Vedic understanding is saying that life must have 6 symptoms. Life has 6 symptoms. Birth, growth, change, reproduction, decay, and death. Now apply this principle, or observe any living entity. A tree or plant, is it alive? Now you put it in this framework. Does a tree take birth? Does it grow? Does it change? Does it reproduce? Does it decay? Does it die? So tree is alive. Insect, animal, reptile, wherever there is life, these 6 symptoms must be there. Now you can see, even modern science couldn't figure it out. They don't know what the symptom of life is. Because they started with the wrong premise. Life came from matter. Accidentally something happened. Who saw that? They say 40 billion years ago, there was this thing happened, that thing happened, and life came. Prabhupada's simple question was, were you there at the time to witness that? Just on your speculation you're saying, how do you know that? How can you say that? Did you ever see anything happening like that? And Prabhupada used to give the challenge, all the chemicals are there. So produce life out of chemical. And what is the answer? Not now, tomorrow we'll do it. And Prabhupada used to say that's like giving a post-dated check. I don't have the money now. After 6 months I have money, so take the check. The money will come after 6 months. And Prabhupada very boldly told that, you know what? A scientist's bluff. Anyway, whereas in Vedas, there is no speculation. Everything is completely precisely presented. Yes.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. I have 2 questions. My first question is, when we study the life of Jad Bharat, even though he was an elevated soul, so still, because of his attachment to a deer, he had to take birth again in a deer body. So in Kali Yuga we have the holy name, which is very powerful and the only way. So how about those devotees or initiated who have taken the process of Krishna consciousness, but yet they take care or keep a dog, being attached to a dog. What about happen to them? This is my first
The
question.
devotee is getting attached to dog.
Yeah, keeping
Give
dog.
up the attachment. Don't develop this attachment. Actually, recently we found some devotees are keeping dogs in Mayapur. We stopped it. No, devotees can't keep dogs.
My second question is, as we explained, the holy name is the only way for this yoga and very powerful. So if holy name, my question is, if the holy name is important, then why deity worship? Why Prabhupada established deity worship?
Deity worship is to find out whose name we are chanting. Right? Okay. Yes.
Maharaj, you mentioned about...
Take the mic.
Maharaj, you mentioned Vasundhara Kutumbakam, whole world is a family. How do we deal with atheists in that situation?
How do we live?
Deal with atheists, people who don't believe in God, because half the people we meet outside are more or less atheists. And it's an important...
Well, some of your brothers are in ignorance. To either tolerate them or educate them. Okay? Because, after all, they are our brothers too. Mm. Yes, Krishna Purna?
Guru Maharaj, you said Jad Bharat could remember his past births, whilst none of us can remember. What's the reason for it?
Well, different individuals have different level of advancement. The more advanced one is, the more he'll be able to remember his past. Like, some people can remember things that happened 50 years ago. And some people can't even remember what happened 5 minutes ago. Right? Don't you see that? So similarly, some people can remember their past life. So these are some special ability. They are called Jatismar, one who remembers his past life. Normally, generally what happens after death, one enters into a region called Andhata Mishra. That very, very dark region. And in that region, one's memory gets obliterated, practically, or covered over. Therefore, in his next life, you see, they go through that region, practically forgets everything from the previous life. And then when they get a new body, they have practically no recollection of their past. And they start to gather their knowledge in that new body. And as I say, like birth makes one forget. Birth in this planet, in this world, makes one forget his past. Like as I said, when Brahma was born, even he was in ignorance. Right? Janmana jayate shudra. Means by birth, everyone is a shudra, means everyone is in ignorance by birth. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Maharaj. I think these questions devotee ask regularly, but I didn't catch it. Like how Bharat Maharaj achieved perfection without devotee association, and as well as his true for Maharaj also.
What's the question?
How Bharat Maharaj achieved perfection without devotee association, and is true for Maharaj have the similar case.
We have to understand that Bharat Maharaj had his guru, had his instructions. Like it hasn't been mentioned, that doesn't mean that he didn't have. In Vedic culture, everybody used to have a guru. And the guru used to guide them. Especially what to speak of a king. The king used to have a set of ministers, those who were all exalted brahmanas.
second question. I heard some devotees said rock or some gems don't have consciousness. So does that mean the rock has soul?
Consciousness, but so covered that it almost doesn't exist.
Thank you.
Archana?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I would like to know if the fact that we respect nature or try to live in harmony with nature will help us to develop the more goodness. Because when we live in the country, it's easy to respect, but when we live in the cities, the more of passion tendency.
Yeah, Prabhupada, let me see if I can remember. Prabhupada said something like, the nature is created by Krishna and cities have been created by man. So naturally it's better to live in nature. Closer we are to nature, because human beings are social entities. They live together. They're not, as there is a saying, it's actually Ernest Hemingway is saying, no man is an island. So we love to live together. Therefore we create a situation, but like staying in villages and things. And therefore the villages are more conducive to our, being close to nature. More we go to the cities, the more we are away from nature. The more we go away from nature, the more we go away from Krishna. Well, rectify is wherever you are, just preach Krishna consciousness. That's the rectification. Grihe thako, bone thako, city-te thako, grame thako. Whether you're in a village or in a city, just jare dekho tare kaho, Krishna upadesh. Whoever you see, instruct him about Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you for such nice classes. So you were talking about Bharat Maharaj and how he became attached to a deer, and this is like Maya. And I've heard devotees say that Prabhupada commented that we weren't frightened enough of Maya, or we didn't. And then the other day you used the analogy of a policeman, how if someone's like following rules and regulations, then the policeman's the friend of that person, and they feel protected. And so I was just wondering how that fitted in with being frightened of Maya, but seeing Maya as one of Krishna's energies, and not being frightened or being cautious enough of her.
Yeah, I couldn't get the question actually.
So I'm just wondering about, you used the analogy of a policeman, how we feel protected. If we're following the rules and regulations, then we feel protected by the policeman. So, and Prabhupada, apparently he said that devotees weren't frightened enough of Maya.
Not frightened enough.
Yeah, and so I'm just wondering, how to get this balance of being frightened of Maya, or whether we see Maya as one of Krishna's energies, and therefore we don't have to be frightened if we're...
Yes, good point. Yes, Prabhupada did say, your problem is that you are not afraid enough of Maya. So, and as a result of that, we do not take proper precaution. So that's what Prabhupada was warning us. So that is, like we have to recognize that Maya is Krishna's energy. She's extremely powerful. Therefore we should be extremely cautious so that we do not become victims of her onslaught. And that is there, but at the same time, Maya is Krishna's energy, but Krishna is telling that when one takes shelter of him, Mame Bhaje Prapaddante, Maya Medantarantite. When one takes shelter of Krishna, then he can easily overcome the influence of Maya. And in that respect, Prabhupada also mentioned that Maya is Krishna's external energy, but the association of devotees is Krishna's internal energy. Therefore, to remain in the association of devotees, we remain safe from the attacks of Maya. So we should be worried, we should be afraid of Maya, and we should take shelter of the association of devotees. The trouble starts when we give up the association and go away thinking that I can face this world myself. Okay?
Can I ask one more question?
Yes, sure.
So King Venu, his father, he retired. He was with his son.
Longer, yeah.
So he retired to the forest. So I was just wondering, is this like false renunciation because he wasn't dealing with the problem?
Well, not actually false renunciation, because when he saw that he can't correct his son, he's totally hopeless. Then he said, okay, let me just get out of here.
I was thinking he was supposed to protect the citizens, and he was leaving them under the care of his son.
Good point. Yeah, then probably he should have killed him. Yeah, ultimately the Brahmanas did that. He left it up to the Brahmanas to do that. Okay. Okay.
Maharaj, this narration in Srimad Bhagavatam about Jad Bharat is said that it's extremely auspicious to hear this narration, and it is said that person who is speaking about Jad Bharat, and these persons who are hearing, they get extremely wonderful benefit. But I don't remember which benefit this is said in Srimad Bhagavatam, and I don't remember which benefit.
Which benefit? Okay, I have to look at Bhagavatam too. I don't remember. Benefit means spiritual benefit, makes spiritual advancement, gets closer to Krishna, becomes free from material attachment. Hearing that story, we learn the defect of material attachment, and we also learn the benefit of being connected to Krishna, depending upon Krishna, and how material achievement, material success is not really so important for our spiritual advancement. By the way, I was wondering, which part of Europe you are from?
Poland.
Oh, you are from Poland. Okay. Yeah.
At the end, in Srimad Bhagavatam, about this narration about Jad Bharat, it is explained that this is extremely auspicious. Somebody who narrates that things would happen, and those who are hearing get a great benefit.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was right down. I was very uplifted, I was very happy that I was reading that story.
Okay.
But now I don't remember what benefit.
Okay, I'll tell you in the next class. Okay. Yeah.
So it's Canto 5, Chapter 14, Text 46, which is the last verse of this episode. Devotees interested in hearing and chanting, Shravanam Kirtanam, regularly discuss the pure characteristics of Bharat Maharaj and praise his activities. If one submissively hears and chants about the all-auspicious Maharaj Bharat, one's lifespan and material opulences certainly increase. One can become very famous and easily attain promotion to the heavenly planets, or attain liberation by merging into the existence of the Lord. Whatever one desires can be attained simply by hearing, chanting and glorifying the activities of Maharaj Bharat. In this way one can fulfill all his material and spiritual desires. One does not have to ask anyone else for these things, for simply by studying the life of Maharaj Bharat, one can attain all desirable things.
Wonderful, thank you. But we don't want material success, even elevation to the heavenly planets, nor do we want to merge in the body of the Lord. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I just have a comment rather than a question from what you said earlier about planet being one big family. At least in ISKCON, the short few months that I've been here, I've definitely felt that being the case. Is one big family in ISKCON. You know, wherever you go in the world, you've got connection. You've got not even just to devotees, but every surrounding, the buildings, the plants, the animals that you have. And so I just want to comment on that.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Can you tell us a bit more about chanting with sincerity?
Okay, you want me to speak on chanting
with sincerity.
Chanting with sincerity. What does chanting mean?
Chanting means to say the names of the Lord and listen to the names. But
yeah. Sincerity, and then what is the meaning of sincerity?
With a pure heart.
Okay, pure heart, and it's more with intention. Like sincere intention. And that means the consciousness or the attention should be in that. Sincere means doing it with earnestness, like fully committing ourselves to that. So that actually explains chanting with sincerity means. When we are chanting, we shouldn't just utter the sound, the names. We should put our entire consciousness into it, entire existence, entire being into it. That is the sincere chanting. Like, who are we chanting? That's why I asked, what is chanting? We're calling out to the Lord. So when you're calling out, how should we do that? Should we do it earnestly or should we do it half-heartedly? Naturally, we should do it wholeheartedly. So that is sincere chanting. And Prabhupada said sincere chanting means your mind is completely into hearing. Somebody asked, so Prabhupada said that chanting, hear and chant, hear. Then somebody said, Srila Prabhupada, but the mind, Prabhupada said, no mind, just hear. So the point is, mind should be completely into hearing, mind should not have a separate existence. That's sincere chanting. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm sure you are chanting very sincerely. Okay, yes, Neil? Neil, yeah?
Hare Krishna. Following on from the detachment from the dog,
I realised I'm going to be reborn a dog. A chocolate Labrador to be precise. But it's, I feel as though it's partly our love for animals and our care for animals. It gives us our humanity in a way. And it's the people that do love animals. We would be in that the animals suffer enough, especially in cities anyway. If there wasn't those people that care for the animals, that have sanctuaries, etc., we'd be in a worse situation. So to say that they're going to be reborn dogs and stuff, so if I repeat this to my family and etc., they will misunderstand.
Yeah. As I mentioned, it is not that we should not develop relationships. We should develop relationships, but with Krishna in the center. Then we are properly situated. Otherwise, if it's just me and the animal, no matter how honest, how generous the attitude may be, but we are running the risk of developing an attachment that may cause hindrance to our spiritual progress. So that's why the solution to all these problems or all these relationships, not also the solution, but the means to develop all these relationships, proper means to develop all these relationships is to see their link with Krishna. So that way, whatever is happening, you are developing a relationship with those individuals, whether human beings or animals or so forth. But at the same time, you are becoming aware of Krishna. So that is the meaning of being Krishna conscious. Always conscious about Krishna. And by doing that, we become elevated to the spiritual world. Okay, thank you. Yes.
Charu Swami Maharaj. Srila Prabhupada used to say that our devotees should be sincere and serious and sincere. So, what happens if that devotee doesn't develop that sincerity and seriousness? At the time of death, he didn't achieve that. What happened with this devotee?
The devotee is not sincere.
Means at the time of death, he couldn't achieve that 100% sincerity and seriousness. So what happened is not fully, obviously it's not fully achieved the goal of life, in my opinion. One must be 100% sincere and serious to be a proper Vaishnava.
Well, I mean, this is, it's difficult to answer. The simple answer will be, he should become serious. If he is not serious enough, he should become serious. Because if one is not serious, then he is running the risk of failure. And if we fail, we don't really know whether we'll get this opportunity again. This opportunity is so rare. In no other ages one can get this opportunity. What one is getting through ISKCON, through Srila Prabhupada. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doesn't come every day. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes only once in a day of Brahma. Krishna comes only once in a day of Brahma. And one day of Brahma is 1,000 Chatur-yugas. And when the Krishna of Vrindavan comes and reveals his pastimes, then after he leaves, then in the following Kali Yuga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes. And by coming here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually opens the door of Vrindavan, which was not available to the other ages. So this is the gift that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving. Although we are in the age of Kali, the most degraded age, this age is meant for the most fallen people. So which means we are the most fallen individuals. But although we are most fallen, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us the greatest gift. So in spite of getting that, if we don't take advantage, then who can help us? It's like a simple example I'll give, just a mundane example though. Somebody comes and offers you $10 billion, 10 billion euros. And you say, well, maybe tomorrow. I'm not really interested in now. Now, whose bad luck is it? Although it's a material example, but from this we can understand. Try to understand. Now, compared to Krishna consciousness, $10 billion is just like a broken piece of glass lying in the street. So this is how rare, this is how precious this Krishna consciousness is. And if we can't take advantage of it, whose misfortune it is? And you may say that they may not know that. Just as a person may not know the value of $10 billion. Right? Maybe a person in the middle of some jungle, you give him 10 billion, oh, what's this? Therefore there is a need to preach. Preaching means reminding them what's the worth of this. And that's why you have to go out and preach. That's why you have to remind people what Srila Prabhupada has given, what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given.
Thank you, Maharaj. I have another question. It's about the higher taste and the lower taste. Sometimes the nartas are really hard, so we already have the higher taste, and we appreciate that, but sometimes you also go for the lower taste, which is material, sense enjoyment. So how we can appreciate the higher taste and finally rid of the nartas and reduce...
By getting the higher taste. Right? And Prabhupada gives the example, like when one gets jaundice, to him sugar tastes bitter. Sugar is not bitter. Because he is diseased. Therefore to him sugar tastes bitter. And sugar will taste sweet to him only when he gets cured. So similarly we are suffering from a disease in this material nature. And because of that disease, we are not getting the taste of spiritual practice. Therefore it is a consideration of becoming cured of the disease. So when you get cured of the disease, then only we'll get the taste. Therefore you have to practice. This process will cure the disease and then we'll get the taste. Follow this process, Ado Shraddha Tato Sadhu Sangha, Atha Bharjaman Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishtha, then comes taste. After Nishtha comes Ruchi. Ruchi means taste. So you follow the practice, it will happen. Follow the process, it will happen.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, yes. Guru Maharaj, why even though devotees, some are doing chanting and reading, but there is no change in their habits and heart? Keep taking the medicine. Keep taking the medicine properly, then only you'll get cured. Medicine is there, it will cure. But take it timely and also follow the side activities. Like, there are two expressions in Ayurvedic treatment, Aushadha and Pathya. Aushad means the medicine and Patha means the food. Like, both have to be followed. Take the right food, and Prabhupada gives the example that somebody develops some disease due to some activities. So while he is taking the medicine, he should stop that activity also. If he continues to do that, then the medicine won't work. So ultimately, Srila Prabhupada has given us the perfect process. Follow the process, result will be there. Yes, your question.
Krishna Maharaj. I understand that the subtle body carries the soul to the next material body. So if the mind can become your best friend by being purified, what happens to the mind when you return to the spiritual world and the rest of the subtle body as well?
Okay, good point. Now, as you mentioned yourself, subtle body. Is the subtle body material or spiritual? Material. So can matter go into the spiritual world? No. Therefore you have to leave your subtle body also behind. But it's a good question that you asked. You see, the gross body, at the time of death, we discard. But that doesn't happen to the subtle body. Subtle body doesn't die. Subtle body continues to exist, even after death. Subtle body consisting of mind, intelligence and false ego will not die, but it can dissolve or it can be transformed. It dissolves. Like when the mind constantly thinks of Krishna, then the mind is spiritualized. So in this way, when one becomes always engaged in Krishna's service, Tesham shatata yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam buddhi yogam. When one becomes constantly engaged in serving Krishna, then Krishna gives him buddhi yoga. So intelligence or buddhi is spiritualized. And in this way, by being engaged in service to Krishna, Jiver Sarup Hoy Krishner Nityadas. One becomes situated in his Sarup, and then his false ego also disappears. So then, does he have mind, intelligence, false ego? Has been spiritualized. So that stage, spiritualized means that stage he is a pure spirit soul. He doesn't have a subtle body. A pure spirit soul residing in the gross body. And that stage is called Jivan Mukta stage. Iha jasya harer dasya karmana manasa gira nikhilasyapi avasthasu Jivan Mukta sa uchyate. In this way, by being engaged, Iha jasya harer dasya karmana manasa gira. When his karmana, gross body, right? Karma is executed through gross body. Manasa, subtle body. Gira, speech. When he is constantly engaged in Krishna's service, that stage is called Jivan Mukta stage. Or that stage is also called Sarup Siddhi. Sarup Siddhi. He is situated in his Sarup. Although he is in his apparently material body, but he is a pure spirit soul. So that is called Sarup Siddhi. And then, at the time of death, he leaves his gross body and your pure spirit soul goes back to the spiritual sky. So that is called Vastu Siddhi, the perfection of his identity. Like yesterday the question came up, Dhruva Maharaj, like death, he left his gross body, but in that gross body, apparently gross body, he was a pure spirit soul. So the gross body was left behind, and pure spirit soul went back to the spiritual sky. Okay, I'll stop now. I gave 1 hour to question answer session today, and it went on for 65 minutes. So this is not better, huh? Like the question answer sessions make it more exciting, more relevant, more informative. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Gaur Premanande.
His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj ki.